Today we will recap a 24-year-old thriller, Bloodthirsty Sheriff. At the beginning of the story, our heroine Lisa was driving on a wilderness road preparing to find her boyfriend in another place. Just now, she had a big fight with her father. Her father accused her of being arrested for theft, bringing shame to the family, and even hit her in a rage. Lisa left home in a huff and planned to live with her boyfriend. On the way, her sister called to persuade her not to go, saying that her boyfriend was not a reliable person. But Lisa said angrily that she would never go home again. Passing a gas station on the way, Lisa stopped to refuel. At this time, a man in a police uniform came over to chat. As a result, his tone was like interrogating a prisoner, which made Lisa feel uncomfortable, so she politely perfunctory a few words. Before leaving, he wanted to buy Lisa a can of drink, but Lisa declined. After he left, Lisa whispered, "What a weirdo." After refueling, Lisa continued on the road. Seeing that there was no car in front of her, she stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. Unexpectedly, a police car was lying in ambush on the roadside and Lisa was found speeding. So, the police car followed Lisa and forced her to stop. After stopping, Lisa took the time to tidy up her hair and put on lipstick to make herself look better, hoping that the police would be merciful and let her go. The police came over and it turned out to be the same one as before.
Everything all right?
Sheriff.
The sheriff said that Lisa was not only speeding, but also throwing things around and breaking the police lights on the police car. Lisa took a look and said it was unfair. "I didn't throw anything at all." The sheriff didn't listen and directly gave her a ticket of $1,000. Lisa said that the fine was too heavy and she didn't have so much money. After a lot of pleading, the sheriff said, "Okay, you just pay the repair fee for the police lights, $300. Lisa thought, is it really necessary to repair a light for $300? But after thinking about it, it was much less than $1,000, so she agreed. But Lisa didn't have cash, and the sheriff said that there was an ATM at the gas station just now and we would meet there later. Just when Lisa was about to leave, the sheriff suddenly asked Lisa to hand over her phone to him, saying that she would not run away.
Isn't it against the law to take my phone?
Are you telling me the law in my own county?
Although she knew that it was wrong for the police to do so, Lisa still gave it to him under pressure. In this way, Lisa came to the gas station again. She asked the clerk of the convenience store where the ATM was. The clerk said that the ATM was empty and there was no money in it. However, Lisa wanted to swipe her card to buy a bottle of drink, but the clerk said that there was no money in the card either. Well, now she can't withdraw money to pay the fine. Lisa asked the clerk about the sheriff, wanting to know whether the guy is a real policeman or a liar. The clerk said that he is the most respected sheriff in our town. Lisa was speechless, thinking, the most respected, he is almost like a bandit. After leaving the convenience store, Lisa looked around and didn't see the sheriff. She decided to ignore it and continue on the road. At this time, the sheriff ambushed on the side of the road again, and after Lisa passed by, he drove to catch up with her. After the two parked the car, the sheriff asked her, "Didn't we agree to meet at the gas station? Where are you going?" Lisa explained that the ATM there was empty, so. The sheriff said, "There is a coffee shop and an ATM not far ahead. Go ahead, I'll find you later." Lisa said okay, but what she was thinking was, "I'll just leave this shitty place. At worst, I won't have my phone anymore." Just like that, Lisa drove away, but not far away, she saw through the rearview mirror that the sheriff took out a shotgun and aimed it at her. Lisa panicked. What the hell was going on? The bullet blew up one of the rear wheels, the car lost control and crashed into the roadside and stopped. Lisa got out of the car in panic, thinking that the sheriff was going to catch her, but unexpectedly, the sheriff turned around and left. Lisa was confused, but also relieved. Now that the car was broken, she could only walk to where there were people. She started walking forward, and after a long time, she finally arrived at the so-called coffee shop. After entering the store, she saw a stack of change on the table in front of her, so she stole the money when no one was paying attention. Then she used the public phone in the store to call her boyfriend for help. However, her boyfriend did not listen to her at all. Instead, he blamed her, saying why no one answered his call after he made more than a dozen calls, and finally a man answered. Lisa wanted to explain quietly, but her boyfriend was so angry that he did not listen to her at all. Lisa was so angry that she hung up the phone. At this time, she saw the sheriff also came outside the coffee shop and towed her car. This was bad. How to get rid of this pervert? Ask for help from the people in the store? I'm afraid it won't work. They will only believe the police. Lisa suddenly had an idea and called the police, falsely claiming that there was a violent incident at the gas station. Sure enough, the next second, the sheriff received a police report and left. After the sheriff was sent away, Lisa went out to check her car and found that the tire had been changed. Lisa thought, what does it mean to break my car and then fix it? Forget it, ignore this pervert's idea. Although the car was in front of her, she didn't have the car keys, so she could only call her sister for help. Suddenly, the sheriff came back and Lisa was terrified. Unexpectedly, The sheriff didn't make trouble this time, but returned the car keys and mobile phone to her and left. Lisa breathed a sigh of relief and thought, it seems that this guy still has some bottom line. Since the sheriff let her go, Lisa will no longer ask for help. She told her sister that she was safe and prepared to leave. As soon as she walked out of the coffee shop, she found the clerk sitting outside with a sad face. After asking, she found out that he was fired by the boss because the customer's change was missing just now. Lisa stole the money, so out of guilt, she decided to give the clerk a ride. In this way, the two talked and laughed along the way and talked a lot. Just when the topic turned to the sheriff, the clerk was suddenly shot in the head from a distance. Lisa was scared and cried, ran out of the car, and didn't know what to do for a while. At this moment, she saw someone driving over in the wilderness in the distance. Her first reaction was that the murderer was chasing her, so she drove away quickly. Soon, the other party caught up with her. It was the sheriff. It turned out that the sheriff was a murderer. At first, the sheriff followed very closely and bumped into the back of Lisa's car from time to time. Later, he pulled away for a distance and followed slowly. This lasted for a few minutes, and Lisa's nerves were always tense. At this moment, she found a large truck parked on the side of the road in front of her. She quickly stopped the car and got out to ask the truck driver for help. The driver heard someone chasing her and immediately took out his gun to be on guard. At this time, the sheriff suddenly appeared. Lisa said to the driver, "It was him who was chasing me." The driver was confused. "What's going on? The police are chasing you?" The sheriff said that Lisa was a fugitive murderer and there was a body in her car. He had just killed someone. Although Lisa tried to defend herself, the driver was inclined to believe the uniformed man. Just when the driver relaxed his vigilance against the sheriff shot her dead. Lisa didn't care about anything else and quickly got in the car and continued to run. The sheriff not only didn't shoot at her, but also didn't rush to chase her. It would be more interesting to let the prey run away. Lisa drove for an unknown amount of time until the car started to smoke. There happened to be a scrap car factory nearby, so she decided to get off and hide. There was no signal on her cell phone here, but she met De Zhuang, an employee of the scrap car factory. Lisa accidentally injured De Zhuang and bandaged his wound. Seeing that De Zhuang was not angry or annoyed, but smiling, Lisa felt that she had met a good person. She felt relieved immediately, and then there was the sound of a car outside. De Zhuang said that the boss was coming, and he went out to greet him. After De Zhuang left, Lisa came to the bathroom that De Zhuang mentioned and wanted to wash up. When she came, she found that this was not a bathroom at all, but a repair room with various tools. Not only that, Lisa noticed that there were some cards hanging densely on the wall. When she got closer, she saw that they were dozens of women's driver's licenses. She immediately had an ominous premonition, and sure enough, the next second, the sheriff appeared. That's right, the sheriff was De Zhuang's boss. The sheriff said that these people on the wall were all killed by him. Lisa was terrified and turned around to run, but was knocked unconscious by De Zhuang. When Lisa woke up, she was tied up. The perverted sheriff began to tell his story. From his words, it can be heard that he is extremely misogynistic and enjoys torturing and killing women. Now, because Lisa has been talking slowly, he thinks Lisa's mouth is too dirty and needs to be cleansed. So, with the help of De Zhuang, the perverted sheriff cut off Lisa's tongue alive. In the severe pain, Lisa fainted. After an unknown amount of time, Lisa woke up. When she woke up, she found that her tongue was gone, and she was almost crying. No matter what, staying alive is important now. While the sheriff and De Zhuang were watching TV next door, Lisa sneaked out and brought a knife for self-defense. As a result, she didn't run far before the sheriff drove up. The sheriff wanted to play with his prey to his heart's content and was unwilling to kill Lisa directly. He said he wanted to play a game with Lisa, which was to leave the gun to Lisa. He drove to hit Lisa to see whether Lisa's gun was faster or his car was faster. Of course, when the gun was given, the gun and the bullet were separated. Unexpectedly, Lisa was unwilling to cooperate. After the sheriff got in the car, Lisa picked up the gun, loaded the bullet, and then shot herself in the head. The sheriff saw that his prey had committed suicide without authorization, and he was immediately furious and got out of the car to check the situation. He didn't expect that Lisa was not dead. It turned out that she was pretending to commit suicide just now. The bullet did not hit her head, and the blood spurted out of her mouth. Just like that, Lisa suddenly stabbed her while the sheriff was not paying attention. The sheriff was in pain and couldn't move on the ground. Lisa came to the car and started the car. When she was about to leave, she suddenly felt that she couldn't let this perverted murderer go. So she turned the car around and hit the sheriff with a step on the floor. The sheriff raised his gun and wanted to shoot, but found that the magazine had been taken away by Lisa. Just like that, the perverted sheriff was hit to death by Lisa. Afterwards, Lisa returned to the repair room, picked up her tongue, wrapped it with ice, and thought of taking it to the hospital for surgery to connect it. Then, she collected all the victims' driver's licenses and prepared to hand them over to the police as evidence. At this time, the badass De Zhuang appeared. But she didn't understand the situation. Lisa took the initiative and pierced the De Zhuang's head. After dealing with the emergency, Lisa drove the car towards the brightly lit city ahead. At this time, her boyfriend called. Lisa threw the phone out of the car without saying a word. What she meant was that you were not there when I needed you the most. Now I have handled everything by myself. Why do I need you? The movie ends here.